attached to crime, an NPR recording, and I found a study on underreporting high school crimes. Got their permission, got their copyright permission, and I used just part of it and recorded that again as a closed test. It's not a test, it's a closed practice, and then that'll be this week. The other one, my writing ones, the book doesn't have any component with it at all. There's no online component, there's no CD, there's nothing with our writing book. And I've been giving spelling tests in almost all of my classes, because so what I discovered was that in writing one, I have some that are so low that they don't understand the word when you say it. And they're simple words like teacher and student. They're not getting it because they don't even know how to say those. So it took me about 20 minutes. I went in and I did each page. Here's page 4. Administrative assistant. And I just read the entire vocabulary for that. And that's all there is to it. So they can back it up and listen to it as many times as they need to, practice their pronunciation of it, and look at it on the page so they recognize the word when they hear it.
So it's vocabulary building?
Right. Do they read it back to you?
No. At this level, I just thought, because there's no component with the book, they at least needed to know what the words sounded like that they're expected to use within the book. You know, administrative assistant is kind of high for level 1, but I also have the ones who can't say student. They don't recognize the word student when they hear it because they're absolutely zero beginning students. So I thought, well, this will be just not, you know, it'll be good for the ones who are kind of doing okay, and it'll also be good for the ones who aren't. I showed it to them in class, how I was sending them the invitation, how to join. They're level 1, I couldn't believe it. They all joined, they all got in, we talked about it today, they're all using it. So there's lots of different, and like I said, it took me 20 minutes to do all of this. I thought it was going to be a big deal, but it wasn't. So there's lots of things you can do with it, and it's user-friendly. For me, I didn't do the general discussions. What I did was, you were talking about the discussion zones. Like, for example, listening and speaking for, I just go in and record new discussion. And then I name it and go on from there.
Oh, so they do it individually?
I do have individual as I go.
Oh, but the students, oh, they're not using it, they're not coming out.
As
They're
long
not
as they
recording
click
anything.
on the title of the assignment.
Well, what she was saying is she had discussion zones. She had a list over on the left
Right,
side. And I don't know what I'm going to do. So, from Monday to the next sometimes, because I'm kind of making this up as I go, ooh, this would be a good thing to do. So all I do is just hit record new discussion, put in whatever it is, record it, save it, and it goes into that
So that's
talk
the
group.
way to add new discussion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it just goes into the talk group.
But you've got to remember to tell them to click on the name of the discussion title.
Right.
Otherwise, what'll happen, instead of going over to the right and scrolling over automatically, it builds new discussion groups. And so you'll get, you know, Bob will have started his own.
Yeah, that's what Alvaro did. I still haven't figured out how he did it. He was the only one in my listening for that actually made his own, and he looks very handsome in his picture. But like he started his own discussion group. He was the only person who didn't get in to what he needed to get into. But we fixed that problem, and it was a language interference problem. He's in level 4, and he's having a really hard time understanding what's being said. So that, I think, was kind of telling. Oh, okay, I'll get out of here. Oops, I'm getting
And
myself in
when I used it in Listening Speaking 5, I had a student that when she first came in really couldn't even string much of 5 to 6 sentences together without major problems. By the end of the semester, had dramatically increased her fluency. Because I talked to the students, and sometimes this is the only extra speaking practice in English that they get outside of the classroom.
And then the other thing was, is I noticed with the 4s, is it made them slow down. Because the ones who are fluent with no enunciation and not great accuracy, the ones who speak pretty well, or they think they do, but you can't understand anything they say, they have to slow down when they're recording because they're very aware of themselves. And that's helped a little bit.
So April, we make them open their new emails with the name recognizable to you, yeah?
Yeah, the
So they
requirement
have an
was
open
their
yes.
first name, their last initial, and HCC.
So
Because
that's
I
what she
figured
said.
there might be a lot of Maria G.
Yeah.
And so if it's Maria G HCC, at some point I'm gonna run out of HCC ones, and I'll have to think of another 3-letter code. to
Oh,
go
that was
with
the other thing, in terms of putting in their, giving them an invitation, because I did it after class one day and I thought, well, I'll just do it this way. I went in, I opened Campus Cruiser at the same time.
And you copy and paste.
I highlighted, copied, pasted,
Yeah.
copied, pasted all of their HCC emails.
Put it in.
So they were forced to go into Campus Cruiser in order to retrieve it.
So this is what happens when you don't set up a talk group and have the students talk one after the other. If they don't click on this, they end up making their own individual. Yeah, this was the first time I decided to use it literally the day before class started. I learned about it and I thought, well, I'll give it a try, why not? What can it hurt? And well, there was a learning curve. Trying to
Well, these
find-
are all your students?
These were all of the students and their presentations for the Listening 5 class.
And so now you organize the,
I organized it
Things
the
differently?
other way. Yeah.
well, that's, I still have them do it this way, that's how it
Yeah.
shows up on my computer.
I think it's Solmar is the one. Is it? I think it's Sulema.
Good evening, everybody.
Yeah.
Today I have two questions
We're
about
yeah, that's her.
why
that's
it's
her.
here in the
So
United
this is
States
one
of America
of
there are thousands of new baby children living in foster homes available for
So that was one of her first presentations. Her last presentation, and this is the downside of having people do their own recordings, is then you have to jump back and forth between pages. So let's see if we can get one more. Bless you. If you click on the icon, it just takes you to their webpage.
Good morning. This is a synopsis of the 3 points of view of the measure of the United States culture. First, the monoculturalistic view. This view says that United States culture is the result of several nationalities mixing together in one huge common culture.
Now, is it perfect? No. But is it markedly better than her first presentation? Yes. It's not going to cure all their evils, but I think that this really provides a venue for students who are scared to speak.
Well,
It's-
she seems to really be making an effort.
She
You know, you
she
can hear
works
that effort
so
in the speech.
hard. She works so hard. I even in my listening
She
speaking
does, though.
yeah, in my listening speaking 3 class, I've created a section that's called personal pronunciation practice. And students that come to me in my class, I'll give them an assignment and say, go record it on Voxopop, and I'll listen to it and I'll record back to you. Now,